They say beauty's in the eye of the beholder. The very essence of beauty you hold her within. Every crack and crevice you hold her. You're beautiful is what holds a seed.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Melanin Pot. We've been gone for a little bit.
A little while, and we got some catching up to do. Since we've been gone, a few people want to act in violence. Out in Maryland, Parkland, there have been school shootings.
Crazy.
Not to mention the death of a man in his own backyard in Sacramento. And last but not least, they want to bomb up Austin.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we are praying with the families and friends of all of these victims of these different acts of violence. Please, guys, help one another and love one another.
That's true. Love.
No, that's right.
What else been going on since then?
Oh, just a lot of time. You know, first, shout out to Black Panther.
Yes.
Black
Wakanda forever.
Yeah.
Fall in line.
Breaking records in the box office.
Absolutely.
Taking names.
The 7th highest grossing movie
Oh, is it? I didn't know
in
it was
history.
That's good.
Right now. You know, when you guys watch this, it may be a little higher.
Yeah, I know that's right.
No, that's right.
Setting a record in the building.
I know it.
And that created a
was
lot of
good,
conversation.
yeah,
It created a lot of
Absolutely.
conversation.
Absolutely.
A lot.
I know one thing that happened at the same time was, they're tired of hearing me talk about the book, was Children of Blood and Bone. It's a #1 New York Times bestseller by Tomi Adeyemi. And let's just say, I really do see that becoming as famous as far as magic and wizardry and those types of things as Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. I think it has the potential to do so. I'm like a third of the way in the book right now.
Okay,
so
that's a read of the week. Y'all be sure to check that out.
Yes, Children of Blood and Bone by
Blood and Bone.
Adeyemi.
I need to talk to her because that's one of my catchphrases. Blood and Bone.
Blood and Bones, yes.
What else is going
And
on?
she liked my tweet on Twitter.
Oh, did she?
Yes, I know. It's kind of
Shout out to you, girl.
That is cool.
Alrighty.
What
Jacqueline, I know you
Oh, yeah, Monique.
Oh.
Your friend Monique.
That ain't my friend, but she's been acting real crazy lately. You know, want people to stand with her and boycott and all that good stuff.
Stand with me.
She got a nice little interview on the Breakfast Club. Y'all should go check it out.
Her and Lenard, they had it out.
But yeah, I mean, I just, you know.
Right, Monique just, hey, my loves, look. And our girl Tiffany Haddish.
Yes.
I see she done made the Beyonce song, and you see her video she did with that with a wig in her head.
I saw that in the salon.
Ciroc bought in the salon. I done made with the 90's club. You know, she H&M.
Not H&M. If y'all don't, that's hit and miss.
Yeah,
y'all don't
she
need.
very H&M for me. I really love her because she's black, so I'm definitely rooting for her. Yes, I am that person. I really do. She's really paving the way for some people and making her own lane. So I think that's all wonderful. But, you know, it's definitely rules to stuff. It's stuff that I feel like, you know, you shouldn't do or you should do. And that's just me.
What do you think she's done? Like,
Well, you know, the wearing the dress thing, I'm totally not here for that.
that's to me, I feel that's like what she's doing as a comedy thing. I love it.
I don't think it's funny.
I love the
so.
comedy thing that she's doing with
But
the
that's
dress.
just me. So, I mean.
Because she's wearing the dress, but she's also wearing other dresses. Like, she's just wearing it as an appearance. She's just making a statement.
Yeah, I'm not here for it.
I love it.
Okay, so you do believe in the tradition of not wearing the same thing twice?
I do believe in that tradition, yeah. If it's something like that, and I'm not saying, you know, if it's something of that caliber anyway, award shows and things of that nature, I'm not saying you can't wear the same shirt or whatever, none of that. But like dresses like that and award shows, you know, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of designers who want to sponsor you.
Well, I mean, she wears other dresses, but she's just wearing that dress
I'm tired
for
of
that.
seeing that dress. That's what I'm saying. Even though you changing your hair up and stuff, I'm not with it. That's me.
I'm just going to be honest. I think that speaks for the everyday regular person. I think that, yes, I agree with you. For me, it's different when the Oscars was something we only saw, when we saw these celebrities only on the Oscars, if that makes sense. We saw them on their movies, then we saw them on the Oscars. We didn't see them in between. And also, these celebrities did not commingle in different things. You did not see the same celebrity at the BET Awards, at the Oscars, at the Grammys. You know, it's so many actors that go to the Grammys now that used to did not go to the Grammys. That used to be a music thing.
Right.
You didn't see actors and singers together until the Met Gala.
It was real,
it was separated.
Right.
So I kind of respect what she's doing in that sense that now for some, you know, social media makes us all a celebrity in our own right. And I feel like so many people spend so much money on clothes or feel like they're not.
And she's brought a thing to where it's not, and I think she's doing it as a comedy thing, but I also like the fact that she's not, it's like no shame into one. Because a lot of people do try to, you know, live this luxury lifestyle to where they don't wear the same clothes twice.
Yes.
Not in your budget, you know. I think it's good to dress nice. You know, I think it's good. But and I get your point on mainstream events don't wear the same thing. Because of course, when I wore to New Year's, I'm not gonna wear to the Melanin Power 1 year anniversary. But I'm also not trying to make a comedic point either.
Right.
So she's trying to make a point, and I think she's making
I've worn the same thing twice on this show, and I think it
won't happen again.
Yeah, we don't know. That's what I'm saying. We talking about her, but then we not even gonna do it. That's why I'm like.
But I mean, it's different because her actual standpoint, her out point of it is a comedic point though. Like,
well, that's fine. I'm just saying. I
think it was different if she was wearing it.
Point. Yeah, I'm not gonna wear the same thing 2 or 3 times, you know, like that. But at the same time, I feel like what I wore was a black shirt.
Girl, so that's different.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So I get what you're saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I feel like, you know,
several times. But I also see there are some people in their regular everyday life walking around a campus not wanting to wear the same thing twice.
Right.
Well, that's
I think
and I also feel like that comes with style because I mean, there's a lot of outfits that we can wear and we have worn, but we wear them so different because we have style to recreate stuff. Some people don't have that. So I mean, I feel like it's just different points to it. I don't think there's any harm in her wearing it. I think as a comic thing, because I'm not taking it serious. Like, oh my God, she's wearing this dress because she's literally broke or she literally doesn't have.
I didn't take it like that either. I took it as a literal fashion thing. I don't think that's tacky to me. I don't care what type of point you're trying to prove. You wouldn't do it. I wouldn't.
But we're not comedians, though.
It don't matter.
It is different because comedians' points, they do something. They do stuff for a total different, and it's not going to be the same.
Well, I don't think it's funny anyway.
I don't think it's a comedian.
Then she not your audience.
Okay.
Well, I already said that.
All right. Speaking of audience, one of the things that we've been talking about behind the scenes that you guys missed. As far as audience is that in the media, you know, we've had a certain set of shows between the late 80s and the mid 90s that we talked about. And there's some things like, you know, in that essence of things that we see problematic now as adults that we didn't see then.
Well, some things that really helped you grow and shaped your childhood, like you got shows like A Different World,
right,
which people just really adored and loved.
And more people found out about HBCUs and wanted to go.
And that kind of what shaped a lot of people's college experience or decided where they would go based upon that type of, you know, interaction. Because you saw like shows like Saved by the Bell, which really gave you, when they got to college, of course, it was a white school, of course. So you got like 90210 and all these other shows to where when they went to college, it's like, okay, cool, but where do I see me? And then also like the Parkers did a little college.
Yeah, junior college.
Santa Monica.
And I feel like the one thing I can't say that's good about the Parkers is that Monique had a second chance. Nikki Parker had a second chance in that show. And also so did Countess Vaughn. Countess Vaughn's character, Kim, you know, as we know, there was an issue of why there was a branch off. Kim kind of got a little famous. You know, and things like
I'm talking from Moesha.
Yeah, from Moesha. You know, the spinoff actually gave Kim a second chance as well.
And even outside of that, like I look at the show, I guess we're gonna start with the Parkers. So looking at the Parkers, of course, it gives Nikki the opportunity to go back in her adulthood to go get her degree and things of that nature. I also like to just taking it out of that aspect, focusing on Kim. Kim also showed that you don't have to go to school to find what your passion is. Because at the end of the series, she didn't get her degree. She ended up going to hair school or something. She gonna open her own business.
Yeah, she opened up a boutique.
That's a good takeaway that, you know, everybody doesn't have to go to school. Everybody's journey's not the same.
Right.
So that was a good takeaway as far as the Parkers shedding light on different things. And it was good to see the spillage of Moesha every once in a while.
Wow, yeah, everybody coming in, Hakeem and Shar Jackson as Niecy come in. Well, speaking of, you know, everybody's journey's not the same.
Now, before we finish with shows now, I want to say.
Okay, wait a minute, we gotta.
The Parkers now.
I think I know where you're going.
Looking back at it now, Nikki Parker, hey my love, you was chasing that man.
Still chasing him.
Chasing that, not still chasing.
She's still chasing.
I guess it's her open relationship.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I did find that problematic. I think that the images we see are very important to us. You know, it's not a mystery that I didn't really grow up here. When I came back, we had UPN in the U.S.
Shout out to UPN.
And so that's my first time ever seeing the Parkers. Although the Parkers was on, of course, it was way more expensive to have American channels.
Right.
You know, and my mom was like, y'all go outside to play anyway. I'm not paying that.
Right.
So when I came back here is when we kind of got exposed to the Parkers. And I know that bothered me and my sister to look at a plus size woman, for me to look at a dark skinned woman. You know, her hair was laid, her nails was done. She was nice
well put together.
She owned a business. She was a part of, you know, what would be kind of like
Lady Egyptian, right?
Lady Egyptian. She did so she had all these had straight A's, good grades, but You desperately chased this man. And then, yeah, at the end, she got the guy. But my thing is this, I don't think that was a good thing to teach girls that, you know,
chase this man for so long until he wants
and I'm sorry, and then the fact that she accepted him and at her altar, I would slap the piss out of a man if you ever break up.
Yeah, I would have loved the writers to do a plot twist on that and just for her to be like,
no,
you had 7 years.
You had all this time to love me and you didn't. And I think that's a problem we deal with. I saw a friend post about that. You know, you tell me you don't want me, and when you see me with somebody else, now you in my DM. No, get your tail on about my space. And the fact that she accepted him kind of speaks to, I think that was a generation ahead, because a lot of us accept stuff
that you shouldn't.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's really true. Another good show.
Well, go ahead, Jack.
I don't have another show, but I was just gonna say they kind of did the same thing in a different world. Remember, she was getting ready to marry somebody else,
and then
Dwayne,
she did.
Dwayne came down the aisle.
When did Papa Pope?
Yeah, but their situation was a little different.
Started it off.
Mama Pope was in that show as well.
She was.
Mm-hmm. They've actually been in a few TV series together.
And I love that.
Look at that chemistry.
That chemistry to know somebody.
So I got a question. Since we're talking about like at the owl, would you? I guess if you would tell somebody no at the owl, you probably shouldn't be with that person, because both of them definitely.
Yeah, you never want to be with them in the first place.
You just settled.
And I'm gonna be honest. I don't think in Nikki's case, I don't think she truly was settling. I think that she finally got what she thought she wanted, and I think if we extended the show, they'd
probably be divorced.
They'd be divorced.
Yeah.
And what was his name?
Professor.
Her new boo. Her
I don't know his name.
Yeah, you know what?
He played a lot of stuff.
I was to say,
he's been living single as Trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's one of those people, honestly, and I think he was on. Was he in The Brothers? Too?
He might have been.
His face.
He might have been.
Coming to my mind.
But the thing about it is, that's what I'm about to say. It's a lot of these little characters in
they
all
be in
these
everything.
shows.
Like Girlfriends had a lot of features. Now Girlfriends had a lot. It gave you a lot.
Girlfriends was a lot.
Joan was
great.
Joan is a lot of people. She's that annoying friend, but she's that down to earth friend, and she gets the crap bucket when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
And I feel like her person was really real.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way they did the dynamic of characters.
Now that I'm grown, I relate.
I appreciate Girlfriends all the way. Lynn is that friend who's smart but doesn't really know exactly which direction she want to go in.
Don't push herself. But she's so laid back that she balances everything.
She balances that, but her life.
Yeah, she balances everything.
I didn't really watch Girlfriends like this.
Tony was dramatic. That friend who was bougie, too much.
Yeah,
Costa Diddy.
But you know what? To me, it's. I love that Tony. I think it's very real that Tony didn't marry a black guy. I think it's very real to me that Tony married a white guy.
Why is that?
Because
he was Jewish, but
he was Jewish, but I mean he was white. I mean you can be Caucasian and Jewish.
He went all the way white, but go ahead.
Yeah. But regardless.
He wasn't black.
Yeah, he wasn't black. And I think that one thing I saw recently was everybody's kind of hip to the Miami Dolphins troll person. I guess he trolled the Miami Dolphins person, where they go into these details about how black women are so strong and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And I wonder, in real life, would Tony Childs be able to keep a black man for real? You know, if she ran into black men like that Miami Dolphins guy.
When you look at her character, it wasn't the fact that she was a strong woman. Maya was a strong woman. She was able to have black love in her relationship.
But
Tony.
Is it because Maya was the single mom who?
That's what I'm saying. Maya didn't start out single though. Maya was in a marriage.
Yeah,
beforehand.
she was married.
Tony was one of those people. She was Costa Diddy, to where it was my way or the highway, and I have this standard for myself.
So
to where you can have standards for yourself, but she was more. She was artificial. It wasn't really about real marriage.
Yeah, because she was from the hood. Because again, what's Mama Black Mother? Jennifer
Lewis.
Jennifer Lewis was her mama, remember? And Jennifer Lewis was an alcoholic, and they came from the hood, and they were broke with her family.
You better act for your book.
Yes, yes. So you know, I can see that too.
It was over. I feel like Girlfriends was a good rounded show.
It was balanced. I think the only thing that I can say that really nothing. I can't take the only thing that I think that Girlfriends did not do was truly present to us at least one stronger male figure. I think they did kind of weaken the men a lot in that show. And you had very successful African American men in there.
I think
and
William,
they were scared and afraid.
But you know what? I
commitment.
think William, I don't even think he was a weak man. I think William was not your stereotypical black
I think
man.
he was just meek.
Not even that. I just feel like William was your... In high school, I think he would have been the person who probably hung out with white people and black people, and who was very smart and nerdy, who black people probably picked on. And he grew up and he was his own person.
Yeah.
So I took him as just being a unique...
No, that's why I said meek. I didn't say weak.
But I'm just,
meek. I mean, he was, the meek Shannon hair.
But I don't feel like they downplayed his character. I feel like his character was who it was. I don't feel like we always have to macho men characters.
I'm talking about Jones' boyfriends.
You talking about throughout the whole...
Yeah, I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about William. I mean, some of them were very indecisive.
Y'all go check girlfriends out. But I think the men that came in and out was...
No, I think that they highlighted on irresponsibility, non-commitment.
I don't know, because if we look at the characters of the women, and you look at the men that they dated, some of the men were more stronger than the women. Because Maya had weaknesses by her when she became a single mother, struggling with being faithful. Joan and her insecurities, Tony and her being selfish, Lynn being indecisive on her career decisions.
Did Lynn ever have a man? Oh, a couple
she
times.
did a couple of times, but I'm saying a lot of these decisions came down to who the women were. So I don't know. I think that's a good balance to check out. So what's another good show that people just love, but you like looking back at the values of the show, it's like wow.
Moesha.
Moesha was a good show though.
Moesha was definitely a good show, and it definitely had some problematic moments. Definitely.
I think that Moesha was very good for seeing good middle class people, and I will say that you had Frank who was a
car dealership,
and then eventually worked hard to own, and then the difficulty in finances that came after he owned it.
D in education.
D was in education and very strong in that and balancing a family. Even Hakeem's mom was a working class woman. She was the manager.
Shout out to Miss Mitchell.
Yeah,
she was right.
No, yeah, well, that wasn't Hakeem's last name.
It was Mitchell.
No,
it wasn't.
Moesha's last name
was Mitchell.
Oh, it is. Hakeem
Campbell.
That's what it is. Miss Campbell.
So
I don't know why I want to make her Mitchell.
Okay, because Hakeem was at the house every day.
He was a Campbell Mitchell.
He was a Mitchell Campbell. But so Hakeem, Hakeem's mama worked a lot, and so she did her best, but also the sense of community, because Shar Jackson's Niecy's family was very poor.
They were absent for the most part, and she was very well educated.
Yeah, she had the highest GPA out of all of them. Yeah.
And I think that speaks to your situation.
I think that really speaks for that part. You had Kim. Kim wasn't as bright, but also Kim was the wisest of all four of them.
Now,
how was Kim the wisest?
I believe Kim was the wisest. First of all, a lot of times in their situations when they got themselves in a lot of stuff, a lot of times it was Kim.
And you know what I feel like what it came down to, either she got out of it or she wasn't in it. It's because of her mother.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really kept her grounded. She had one of those parents to where she could talk to, but then it was a balance.
Even though it wasn't present.
Because Frank at one point was just too strict. Kim and D was just too strict.
I think that was always. And it didn't start that way, because the first episode.
I think they balanced. They came out for a little bit as time went on.
I think that was my issue with Moesha as a person. I think that Moesha had a lot going on. I think that she was very hell-bent on rebellion, and I think for a show, I think that she was very hell-bent on rebellion, but at the same time, I'm supposed to be the good girl. I think she always constantly battled with this good girl image.
Well, I think she was just trying to find herself throughout the whole
I think
season.
she was a sinner, but I really feel like Moesha throughout the whole series.
You said there was a what?
A sinner?
I think that she was the sinner, but the whole series, I think that everything else kind of put her up there. Like, it was lots of episodes where it was her friends.
I mean, but what I liked about Moesha is that it was I feel like it was real. I feel like it was a real life though.
Because you got to think she was in high school. She was a teenager.
Yeah.
So she was still finding herself in most of the seasons. So I mean, you got to give her that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's real. Like, if you think about yourself in high school, if you weren't like if you was a socialite, if you was out, you definitely struggle with a lot of different stuff to where you're like, okay, I'm dealing with dating, and then it depends on what kind of parents you got. How your parents respect it. And then if you're looking at a goody two shoes, my daughter's a straight A student. I'm, this and that. My daughter can't do this.
Very problematic in the show.
She was very.
Yeah,
I think he was protected, but he was also like too much.
I think
and I feel like that's when we see a lot of these kids to where like, oh my God, my mom don't let me do this, my dad don't let me do this, and then they get a little freedom and they get buck wild. And I feel like Moesha was like, oh, I'm gonna get my freedom regardless. Like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. And I don't know. I just feel like that.
I kind of agree with exactly what you said. I feel like a lot of things.
It was a reflection for parents to be like, hey, are you this type of parent?
Are you? Yeah. What are you doing? Because one thing that got me was.
But you also got to keep in mind, Moesha was doing a lot of dumb shit.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to say without. I didn't want to say that. But yes,
at first, like you said, she didn't have that many restrictions on her until she started doing some real crazy stuff, and then he got to the point where he couldn't trust her. Yeah. So if I'm not a parent,
and then she moved out the house.
Well, yeah, I'm not a parent, but I'm looking at it like I have a younger sister who does some crazy stuff, and I can be like, well, and it make you think like, well, dang.
I mean, I do, but I also feel like Frank did a lot of stuff that he, just looking at the show, he definitely should have did more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, especially about her mom dying and all that. Yeah, like, it's a balance on certain right around
stuff. D. Like, if you really look at it,
even though you love D, but you look at the timeline on everything,
well,
it's definitely.
Think even with that, because that happened to me in real life, and now that I'm older, I get it. And so it was relatable because growing up, if you are a father and you are now a single parent and your spouse passed away, you're not used to doing this by yourself. So you looking, if you already been talking to somebody, this is what my dad explained to me. He was like, oh, I've been talking to this woman. I really love her. So she's going to step in to help raise, you all, the kids. So if you're a single parent going into that, that's all you think about is your children. So you're thinking like, oh, they need a mother figure. Oh, they need. So that's probably, I'm thinking that's the place that he was coming from. Do I agree? No. Do I think it was too soon? Yes. Do I think you should explain it to the kids more? Yes. But parents don't always do that. So when I saw that happen, I was like, well, damn, that's now. Because back then I was like, yes, my dad did. That's right. But looking back, I'm like, well, that makes sense. That's relatable because that happened in real life. And fathers do that more than often when you see them turn around real quick. And get married when they have kids.
And I like the fact that in Moesha, there was moments to where they could actually reflect back and say, wait, why am I here? Yeah. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here, and sometimes you don't see that. There is no conversation, just I'm here and you better respect me.
And get over it.
No, and that's not fair to the child. And that's why I feel like those moments, Moesha had some good takeaways in there because her and Dee were able to build a very nice relationship going forward. And it's after that.
And she ended up trusting Dee. Like when she wanted to take birth control and stuff like that. I remember that.
Who gave him? Kim?
Yeah. Kim. It's not throwing Kim under the bus. But I will say this. One show I think that we can all agree did not have too much bad takeaways, if any at all. I think was Living Single.
Living Single, that's my show.
I didn't watch it like that.
I love Living Single. They was all successful. And the fact that they was under 28, they was all under 28
they were all under 30.
And successful. They were doing their damn thing.
And had their own business. And even with their struggles, they did not give up.
They did.
Overton, everybody kind of overlooks Overton and Sinclair. But Overton and Sinclair always had a job. It was only one time.
They always had a job and they had a strong relationship.
Between them because they were just themselves.
Organic,
and then my thing is one thing I love about them, yes, they were single, but none of them were necessarily desperate.
That's true.
They had single moments and they had lonely moments and they had options, but nobody was desperate. And I think nowadays a lot of millennials are expressing a lot of desperate because
desperation.
I don't think that's true. I don't think so.
Why you say that?
Well, because if you look at it, you
got unpause.
You got a lot of single people.
All my body language.
You got a lot of single people. You got a lot of people who are not married. You got a lot of people who refuse to do this, refuse to do that. So I don't think a lot of millennials are like desperate. Because I just look at even my friends or acquaintances. All of us are single as fuck.
I think a lot of us are single as hell.
But that shows we're not desperate.
But I feel like a lot of them are desperate because they're willing to put up with a lot of stuff because a lot of them are sleeping with people who are in relationships. A lot of them are dealing with stuff they probably shouldn't. So I'm just saying in general, like looking at it, I can see it from both sides to where I do see where people are a little desperate to just have somebody and they're more tolerable to just deal with it. Like, oh, I'm just going to deal with this. I'm going to tolerate this because we as millennials have this we just talking, we just chilling type of thing. So I can kind of see like what.
And there was none of that going on in Living Single. Honestly,
yeah.
Except for Max and Kyle, and honestly, Max and Kyle
had a fling like
that. That was the first we just kicking it. I want to say that I could say I saw.
And it actually was more than that. They just didn't want to. Like no,
that's the first time Bond without a title bull crap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Max and Kyle represented that. But Khadijah dated, and Khadijah said what she would and would not do.
That's true.
And she did have her moments.
And you know what? And she definitely remained single because of what she like, or where her heart was. I'll say that because there was a lot of times she was just like, you know what, I can't move forward with this because she was in love with Scooter and all that. So I don't know. Living Single was an overall good show. They were hardworking, they were grinding, they were black.
They were good examples.
And they had a good friendship with people that kept each other.
Rap. I love the hair in that show. I think it was essentially black in all essence. You had dreads, you had braids.
That's true. It was very cultural.
Yeah, it was very cultural. You had, micros, you had the wigs, you had
That's true.
Yeah.
And they talked about everything.
They
talked about
everything.
everything you could possibly think of.
Absolutely.
Racism, discrimination, being in a job and dealing with natural hair. Kyle even, and that was different. It's crazy looking at it now because we don't think, me and natural hair, but he introduced that type of conversation and
Kyle was in the
corporate world.
Kyle was an accountant,
stockbroker,
yeah, stockbroker and accountant. So, but I can't say this. We did get some good and bad examples. It's some shows I think people really do need to look up if they have not seen before.
Now, man, you were telling me you had some problems with the Cosby Show, which I think a lot of people gonna be like, question mark.
I did. I do feel like that Claire and Heathcliff, first of all, did pressure their children a little bit much about Hillman, and none of them ended up going to Hillman longer than a semester or two. I think that they didn't want to open their children up to other things. Because think about it, all of them went somewhere else. One of them went to NYU. Denise dropped out and then did her own thing and went to a JUCO. And then I forgot where Vanessa went, but I think
I said home.
No, she didn't go home.
Denise the one who went to Hillman.
Yeah, for like a semester.
But then she went to Africa, I think.
Yeah, and then she came home, went to Africa, met her husband, got married, and still ended up going back to school. So
I think it was a good takeaway that each one of these kids were able to do their own journey, which I think is good. I think a takeaway from that is to let your child, have different things to shape them, give them an option, of course, foundation, but never this way is the only way.
It didn't make sense that, you are pushing Hillman, but in a sense, you're also pushing a very multicultural environment on them. So you're like, okay, you want me to leave a multicultural environment that I know and go to an all-black school? That would be scary for me. I think even for me going to North Pulaski High, that was kind of nerving for me to go from North Pulaski to if I would have went to Flanders Smith right away, because that would have been different. That would have been a culture shock for me.
I don't think that would have. How, Mary? You came from Germany.
To go to school with all black people?
You came from a place that was real. I think what people get confused about a school with all black people is that it's not diverse. It still is diverse.
Well, no, I'm just saying on first image to me, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That does not make sense.
Yeah.
Because even when you're at North Pulaski, you hang with majority of black people.
I can't say that.
You were in band, so I don't go with. But even with that, when you go to all black school,
it's still other
diverse.
cultures.
Yeah. So I don't see why you would be shocked.
Right, and so I think that the idea would be, be mindful of the environment that you put your children in, and if you're interested in going to different environments, make sure you do more, because it was only.
Well, I don't see how that was bad for the Cosby Show though.
And then it's some other stuff that we don't have time to mention that I would like to go into, but we're running out of
time. Throw
time.
one on out there real quick.
The other thing to me was that I think that Claire and Heathcliff also were very good at the kind of, in a sense, shading their children when they didn't do what they wanted them to do. And I think that in a lot of areas where you do have a lot of upper class African Americans, I think that sometimes they do send that conflicting message that you're going to stay in line for what it is. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think, the 90s definitely brought us, the 80s brought us a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to look up to. I still watch a lot of these more than I watch the shows that's on television these days. So keep watching those things, and there's a lot of conversations that definitely can come about by you watching these different sitcoms and shows that shape the way that we celebrate ourselves and our culture today.
Absolutely.
Well, until next time, guys, I'm Jay.
I'm May.
I'm Jacqueline.
And we out.